Hey guys, it's Tori, and today I want to talk to y'all about my trip to Arizona. Actually, this past summer, the mission trip that I went on when I was 14, and just how it changed my life. So, to be able to prepare for that, I had to learn about this whole world of apologetics. I'd never even heard this word, but it's a great apologetics. Basically, like helps you defend your faith, helps you have the reasoning behind why you believe what you believe, and I think it's a great thing that we should all know as Christians, just like why we believe what we believe, why we do what we do, all that. And so the books that we learned out of was an On Guard book, which is has like all everything you need to know about defending your faith, the the reasoning behind it and all that kind of stuff. And it also came with a study guide. It's like it has like a brief over every chapter and has like questions to answer and stuff like that. And I think it just like it's a good way to really learn how to defend your faith and has like just great reason behind it. And when we went on this mission trip, I went with my old church, Roots Prairie Baptist, which is now Chisholm Summit. But we went with this group called Maven, and I will say that they are a great group, and I think I just love them. They're like my friends now. We became friends, and we also partnered with this group from Utah. I will say I think we all did an amazing job on this, but there were a lot of fears and anxiety that came along with it, but everything's not perfect. So, I mean, yeah. And Maven gave us this book to like write in throughout the whole week about like our hopes, fears, what we did that day, what we learned that day, stuff like that. And so like my first day, there was a lot of hopes and fears. So like for hopes, it was for me to be more confident in sharing the gospel with strangers because that's what we were doing the whole week. We were talking with strangers like on the street. Like we literally just went up to them. We went up to a stranger and was just like, "Hey, do you want to learn more about God?" And it was a scary experience, like really really scary. But I think it sharpened my wisdom in God and just helped me to grow closer with God too. And some fears I had was not embarrassing myself in front of strangers because that actually happened once on the trip, probably more than once. But I prayed to God. I was like, please help me not to embarrass myself. That's like the only thing I did not want was like not to embarrass myself. But can't really help that because like that was my first time on a mission trip learning about apologetics. Like I just found out about it, didn't have much knowledge behind it, but I will say over that trip I did have more knowledge behind it, and now I've learned to like defend my faith better. So we went to a Unitarian church, and I will say that church, okay, so they believe in like equalism. Like they believe that everybody's equal, that there's no right or wrong, and that just kind of like confused me because if there's no right or wrong, then how does God exist? And how do you know that like say like killing we know is wrong, but like how would you know that was wrong if we don't have any right or wrong? And so that just kind of like messed with my head. I was like, what? How do they like not believe this? And we like did their whole service, and like their songs, I'm sorry, like their songs are so weird. Talks about like dying and stuff like that. And like their service was over burials. Like there's like called something called a green burial. It's like a natural way to like bury the dead. And they were talking all about like burials, and I was just over here like, what are y'all talking about? Like why is this important? And they're like talking about like great ways to be buried. Like the green burial is like where you get buried by like a tree, like somewhere in the nature, and all you have is like a little like marking in the tree. You don't have like a tombstone or anything, and you're not buried in a casket. You're just literally your body's in the dirt. And I'm just like, this makes no sense. And so I was just kind of like weirded out a little bit. I was just like, why are they talking about this? Like, why is this a thing? But afterwards, we got to ask some questions and everything, and we found out that that's just their religion. They believe that the burial is the best part of your life, and that's like the most needed part, and that they don't believe in cremating, and they don't believe that there's like an afterlife. Or actually, sorry, they do believe in an afterlife. They don't think it's like with God. They just think that your afterlife is just like looking over your family from a distance, basically, like ghosts. Like you're just like looking over your family. And that just kind of like got my mind like everywhere. That was just like the start of our week. That was just crazy start of our week. And we went to all different locations, and we went to a lot of different like churches to get like their input on things. And we actually went to this other church that we found out about New Age. We watched a video on it. Apparently, New Age is like, it's kind of like witchcraft, kind of, where it's like we saw this guy that did like the New Age stuff, and basically he said that they were the most scariest experiences of his life. Like, he literally was doing like this old witchcraft stuff or whatever, and he like floated like 5 feet above his body. And like, I'm not saying like this is true, but this is what I saw, and like, I think it's true. But from that, he said it was the most scariest experience of his life, and from that, he turned away from all that witchcraft, all the evilness, to God, and his life became so much better. He became more got more like knowledge. He became closer with God. He became close with his family, because like even before then, he was all about the fame. He had like a whole mansion and everything, and he just said nothing ever satisfies him. I can't talk, guys. I cannot talk, but it never satisfied him. So with God, he said that just being with God, having that relationship with him, made everything in his life so much better. And I do believe that's true. Like, without God, I don't know where I would be. I don't think I'd even be happy. And with God, I have become so happy. I'm joy-filled. And I just think that is just a great like way to say like, God is, in my experience and in my knowledge, God is the best way in life. And I encourage y'all to, just have that relationship with God. Maybe, you don't even have to like pray to him all the time. I think just having that conversation with him is just enough just to be with God. Like, there are some times I'm just like sitting in my room, and like things are like, my mind is scrambling. I've had like a really bad day or whatever, and it's just, my mind's everywhere, and I just like talk to God, and it makes it all better. I'm just like having a conversation with him, like he's right there. Like, it's kind of like my best friend sitting right beside me, and I just tell him everything that I'm feeling, everything that's going on, and it just makes it 10 times better. And yeah, it just makes it a whole lot better. And so from that church, they also had these little booklets like "Help is Here," "You Are Loved," and it's like little booklets it has like little like passages from the Bible, and it talks all about that topic, like "You are loved" or "Help is here." It talks all about that, how God is always there for you, and stuff like that. And I think those are like just great little booklets just to like hand out to people if they like need it. I think it was just a great little time. And actually, with talking to strangers, that being a scary thing, we also gave out these books, More Than a Carpenter, and it's all about Jesus and like what he did for us and what Christianity means, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's just great for like non-believers. It's a great book for them. We put it in like little, like this little portable like libraries kind of thing, where it's just like set up in like a park, and it has like some books in it. Well, we put these in there sometimes, or like we gave them to people, all kinds of stuff. And I will say my favorite talk with somebody was this girl named Anne, and apparently she talked about all this like this whole like, she's like, I know about Christianity, like I know what it is, and she's like, I had this like vision that like I was sitting there with God, and like that he was like right before her, my bad, right before her, and she said she saw like out of the corner of her eye, she saw this like little portal to another world. And it kind of made me confused at first, but then I realized she saw an angel, but she didn't know. And that just like made me realize how blind some people can be. That she literally saw an angel right in front of her, but yet she didn't know. And she said like, even like, I couldn't explain it. I couldn't like tell what it was. She's like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. Like, it was so overwhelming to her, but I think it was just a great experience also for her. And I think through this whole entire week, It has been an amazing experience. I will say there were some times of frustration, but in the end, it was all worth it. It was all worth it just to, just talk to strangers about Christ, to have that talk with them, like to give them wisdom. Like we even ran into a missionary, a retired missionary, and she prayed over us. She gave us some like wisdom for like the rest of our day. And actually, the talk afterwards was with a Catholic, and we had that talk with him, and it just like kind of like opened my eyes. Like, wow, like we're doing this, and like God is working through us. God is putting that knowledge in our minds, and that He is just working through us. And it just kind of like opened my eyes, and it was just an amazing experience overall. And I will say, one of the days, I think it was like our last day in Arizona, we got to go to the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. I'm sorry, guys, I cannot speak. But we went to the Grand Canyon, and it was an amazing sight. Like, we stayed there till the sunset, and it was so amazing. Like, my eyes, like, I literally was crying. I was like, God made this. Like, God is so good. And, like, I saw the sun, like, set over everything, and it was so beautiful. Like, I was literally just, like, crying. I was like, God made this. God made all of this. He is so good, and yet He still knows me. He still knows this little person out of millions and millions of people. He still loves me, and that's how God is to you. He knows you. He loves you. No matter if you think like, oh, like there's millions of people out there that like are way better than me or whatever. God doesn't care about that. He loves each and every one of you, no matter who you are, no matter what you may be doing. He loves you for who you are, and like out of this world of millions and billions of people, like He would know me. But it's true, He knows you, and like He doesn't just like know you. He's like doesn't even just like know your name. He knows you, knows things about you that you don't even know about yourself, because He made you. He loves you for who you are and everything you do. And I think that's just worth praising Him for. That there's some people out there that may turn on us, that may bully us. God will never do that. He is always right there. Even if it doesn't feel like it, He is right there. He's always working in you. And I think that's just a reason to praise Him for it. I mean, He is so good. I mean, He's always been there for me. And I know others. He's been there for all of us through every step of the way. And everything He's done is worth praising Him for. And even if some people don't believe it, that is their choice. That's why God gives us free will. He doesn't want us to be like robots, like where we're supposed to love Him. Like we have that choice to. And that's why it's just so much better to be with Him, is because we have that choice, that free will. And yeah, and I just hope that this video maybe gave y'all some like insights on Christianity or whatever. And yeah, I just pray that this helped y'all. And I just hope y'all have a blessed day and have a great, Christmas is coming up, so I hope y'all have a great Christmas. And remember, Jesus always loves you.